Okay, I'm Eddie Conway coming to you from Baltimore. Welcome to the Real News. I'm here at Conscious Heads Barbershop, a place where we have been before, just to get an idea of how people feel about the young man that was murdered in College Park last week. So I'm going to talk to a couple of the patriots. Okay, so I'm just asking people in the shop here what they thought and what they felt about the incident that happened in College Park with the young man that was just commissioned as second lieutenant in the Army and was scheduled to graduate the next day. He was killed just 2 days after his commission. So you're aware of that. What you think about it? How did you feel, and why do you think that might have happened?
First, I want to send my condolences out to the family. I'm very heartbroken. I feel as though he was my brother, relative. And your question, you said, why do you feel like it keeps on happening? I feel like it keeps on happening because, you know, America hasn't been held accountable for the things that they've been doing to people of color. And it's like, when is enough enough?
His case was presented as a case in which he was like really special because he was in the Army, he was a commissioned officer, he was graduating from college. But do that make a difference in terms of racism and how racists attack us? And technically that was a lynching, how they lynch us. Do it make a difference whether, I noticed the Sun paper said he wasn't a thug, as if that meant that it's okay to kill thugs. Well, how do you feel about that?
A lot of the times, America, when they do these things to black people, they always want to deflect. You know, they did it to, you know, Mike Brown, Trayvon Martin, he wasn't a thug, or they want to bring up criminal past if there was one, or their parents' history, whether there was a relative in the house, a father figure. None of that stuff matters.
I notice you keep saying America. Are you referring to the United States of America, or a certain proportion of America? And I know you say they keep doing this, so you're also saying that this is a historical thing?
Yeah, through history we've seen them do terrible things to black people and expect us to move on and forget about it. And a lot of the times they want to use that we've progressed and say that we've progressed in life. Like we have the Oprah Winfrey's, the Tyler Perry's, and all of that, but yet we still have killings of black people. And black people, we don't own anything. We don't own any property. You know, school system, from the school system to, you know, all of our issues in the community. So, you know, we still have a lot of work to do.
What do you think, if anything, we can or should do as a people that's being attacked like that?
As a people, I feel like the black community needs to unify. You know, here at Conscious Heads, we promote unify or die. You know, that's what we say here. It's all about unify and die. And we need to come together and rebuild our own system, because the system is against us. And we stop trying to always work with it.
I clearly understand that these are two separate issues, but there's a tremendous amount of black people killing black people. And to a great degree, you don't hear a lot of outcry. There's concern, there's fear, there's even sympathy, but you don't hear any kind of Black Lives Matter stuff there. So what's the difference in your mind between the two, if there is a difference?
When it comes to the issue on black crime versus racism, I feel as though, you know, the two should be separate. You know, black on black crime, when person of color, you know, kills their own, we're held accountable versus, you know, someone in America doing it to our own. And I feel like they're two separate issues. It's not as though that we shouldn't, address those issues in the community, but they're just two separate issues. And I heard a lot of radio shows comparing the two, and I feel as though they need to be separate.
How do you feel about what happened? One, the way they're spinning it, guy was drunk, it wasn't personal. Two, this shouldn't have happened to this particular guy because he was so special. But it's been happening to black people throughout history. How do you feel about what happened?
I mean, it's just becoming too common, man. Like, as far as the way things going right now, it don't seem like it's about to get any better no time soon. As far as a man losing his life, that's the most important thing. And a lot of people really don't realize that as far as how much people really need to come together at a time like this. As far as that man had a family, like, as far as what they're going through, I can only imagine the pain, suffering.
Do you think it also might be a sign of the times now that, like, Trump and his buddies have gotten in office and they've been kind of advocating hostility toward minorities and other people, and you think this might be an outgrowth of that attitude coming from the top of the government?
That play a big part. Like, people feel as though they got an advantage right now on top of any race, but people don't realize that we all in this together. So when it come down on just one race, it'll come down on everybody. So the laws are meant to be broken, but there's so much that people can do to prevent it. I mean, upper echelon speaks for itself.
The people that's been attacking us don't adhere to what we have to do. They have their own mentality, their own race, their own white supremacy. So what do we do to protect ourselves from those hostilities?
Continue to kill them with knowledge, man. We continue, because knowledge is power in any situation. The more we know, the more we can do about it, and the more it'll show.
Another incident just happened. A white man went up from Baltimore, went to New York, and stabbed people, black people. He went up there deliberately to do that. Also, down in South Carolina, a guy walked in the church and killed a bunch of black people there in the church. Do you think this whole political atmosphere in America now, with racist people being empowered, you think that's having some kind of impact on what's happening?
I don't know, man. I just feel like that it gives a person, whoever has a feeling of malice in their heart about this racism situation, at some point in time, they just get a chance to come out their shell and demonstrate how they feel. And being as though we have a high level of killing, high level of negativity in the air, that you have people that utilize that as a reason to go do what they feel within themselves, deeply within themselves. Because, for a person to just come out of the clear blue and start something like that, that kind of feeling was laying dormant somewhere for a certain of time. And at the end of the day, I honestly feel like this, whether you black or white or whatever you are, man, we are human beings.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't have a malice or discrepancy against anybody that's been made and developed like you.
Okay.
See, so, that's how I feel about that.
So you're aware of the incident that occurred in College Park with the young man that had just been commissioned in the Army as a second lieutenant and was supposed to graduate on Saturday. He got commissioned on Thursday. He got killed Friday night, and of course he missed his graduation on Saturday.
Right.
So what do you think about the whole situation?
I was going to do a more thorough investigation on it. However, it seems to be, I pretty much can guess what it is. I mean, it's been, just lately they, people just been, whenever they feel like killing black people, say, they go suit up and, at will. Like the guy that went from Baltimore to New York. And you know what I mean, and just at will, it's just the same thing. But it's a problem that's been going on since, you know, we've been here in America. If you was to trace it back, you know, the attitude and the mentality is the same thing. You know?
You're saying we've been here as in Africans brought out of Africa and put in slavery here in America? Is that who the we you're talking about?
Exactly. We as black people here in America. I mean, it's always been like that same attitude, you know what I'm saying? You know, making excuses, any reason to go and kill a black person. They think they whistled at, you know, some white girl here. So, you know, because they even thought that they did it, you know, they would go and have a lynching party. And in those lynching parties, they would have tens of thousands of people that would come out, you know, and send off postcards and say, hey, look what we did last night. You know, not scared because they knew they wasn't going to be persecuted, you know, by the law. You know what I mean? Their faces, they had their sons, they had their daughters, grandmama. Everybody would be in that picture when they would actually do it because they knew that they had that white privilege. If I was a betting man, I would bet that it's the same mentality after I go and do more investigation. I don't know, do you have more information about the case?
There's been no official statements. You know, I took exception to the statement that the Sun paper, one of the statements that the Sun paper made was that this was not a thug.
Right.
Which right. implies that it's okay for racists to kill thugs because they're thugs.
Right, right.
I had a problem with that. This guy belonged to an organization, and students at the University of Maryland had been complaining about the racist organization and incidents that had been occurring on the college campus involving yes, members of the organization.
Okay.
And none of the officials apparently took any action or did anything about it until it finally escalated into what now appears to be a racist murder. But how do you feel about it? I mean, I hear you say that nothing's new. This has been going on since we arrived here in America, and so you don't think the Trump administration and the attitude that they have now in cutting out all the social services and directing their hostility, directing certain segments of the population, mainly poor whites, conservative whites, or racists,
right?
Toward other minorities, Muslims, blacks, Latinos, etc.
I know I take a position like I think that Trump is a distraction. I think that Trump is. I mean, don't get me wrong. They're doing things. They're using Trump as a prop. He is the prop. But what I think, like, as a student of magic, you know, when I do magic, you know what I mean? The big thing is that you do with magic is misdirection. You know what I'm saying? You have people focused on this while the trick is happening over here. You know what I'm saying?
What's this trick? You need to share that with our audience.
Well, I think the thing is to have people, they were going to, you know, the powers that be were going to do what they were going to do anyway. They just used the name of Trump. You know what I mean? It's Trump. Why? This is what they were going to do anyway, regardless of really who was going to be in there. You know what I mean? The things that were going to be cut in the direction that the country was going to go in, was going to go in that way anyway.
As a people, what do you think we can do or should be doing to protect ourselves or to offset these attacks?
Well, one thing, you know, like you know, we gotta be organizing. We definitely have to be organizing. These exercise groups that I see around the city, we gotta be organizing and training to be able to protect ourselves. And for some reason, you know, many of us, we exercise and we do certain things, but you know, for a lot of brothers I know, they exercise just to get the women. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, we gotta be exercising, you know what I mean, to look good and to feel good, but we gotta be exercising at the same time to protect our community. And then, you know what I mean? And whatever, by any means necessary.
Thank you for joining me at Conscious Heads Barbershop to talk about this latest attack by racist, white supremacists upon black people. And thank you for joining me at The Real News.